One. In this session, we are going to understand the concept of compensation and the components of pay structure. In a country like India, where wages and the salaries that are earned by the individuals are seen as a status and decides the capability of an individual. In such a case, every individual will try to get more and more salary. At this juncture, organizations need to design effective compensation mechanisms to attract more number of individuals. Compensation is one of the significant factors that motivates and improves the individual's performance. Let us try to understand the components of compensation. Before we are going to understand the components of compensation, let us try to understand basically what is compensation. In general, compensation is defined in two ways. One, as per the Employee Compensation Act, the compensation. Second one, when it is related to wages and salaries part, it is defined in another way. In this session, we are going to understand the element of compensation in relation to the wages and salaries part. So compensation is monetary payments such as wages, salaries, bonuses, and other allowances, as well as other goods or commodities that are used to reward its organizational members. Benefits is a subset of compensation, but not directly contingent on performance. So benefits are given apart from the wages and salaries and incentives. But when it comes to defining the compensation package, altogether they are added. So compensation is monetary benefits that are received by an individual. They may be wages, salaries, incentives, bonuses, or any other elements. Compensation includes any direct or indirect payments to employees such as wages, salaries, bonuses, stock options, and benefits. So compensation includes all these elements. Compensation includes everything an employed individual receives for his or her job performance or for his or her job efforts that are contributed to the organization and for their commitment and involvement in the job. So compensation will be received by an individual for his contribution towards the work and as well as the organization. Compensation includes all expenditures of valued resources. So in this case, valued resources means employees. Valued resources by the organization for the employees, including managers, professionals, blue-collar workers, white-collar workers. So compensation is paid in terms of wages, salaries, bonuses, allowances, and other elements. And compensation is given for the efforts or contribution made by the individual towards the organization. An effective compensation mechanism will try to cover two components that are mutually related. So employees need good jobs and employees need good employers who can pay as per their capabilities. So employees with wide range of attitudes and behaviors and they contribute to the organization in terms of knowledge, skills, abilities, and commitment. And when employees with required KSAs are available in the organization, and what compensation mechanism provides, compensation mechanism, if it is properly implemented in the organization, it is going to give effectiveness and excellence to the organization with the contribution of the employees. So effective compensation mechanism will help the organization to achieve excellence and effectiveness, because when effective compensation or good compensation structures are implemented in the organization, more and more employees are attracted to join the organization, and they can contribute to the workplace. Before we are going to understand the components of the pay structure, let us try to understand different elements that are associated or that are used in relation to compensation. There are, first one, wage. Wage is a pay given for labor, usually manual or mechanical, at short stated intervals, and they are distinguished from salaries. So generally, wages are given for labor. Usually they are manual or mechanical, and they are paid at short stated intervals. It may be hourly basis, or it may be daily basis, or it may be weekly basis. Wage is a payment to a person for service rendered. The amount paid periodically, especially by hours or days or week, for the time during which workmen at employer's disposal. So wages are given per labor. It may be manual or mechanical. The time period of wages is hourly basis, daily basis, or weekly basis. And who will receive these wages? Wages are received by blue-collar workers, where most of the unskilled workers, they are going to receive these wages. When it comes to wages, the payment of wages will happen in two ways. One is time rate system. So time rate system will explain how many number of hours are worked by the worker. Basing on the number of hours worked, the wages will be paid. Second one is piece rate system. Piece rate system will explain how many number of units are produced by the worker. So these are two ways of payment of wages to the workers. One is time rate system basing on the number of hours worked. Second one, piece rate system basing on the number of units produced. Second one is salary. Salary is a periodical payment to persons doing clerical work, administrative work, or professional work, in which employees contributing the production, but that can be seldom measured. So contribution of these clerical people, administrative people, or professional employees cannot be measured easily, but the impact of their performance is good. Salaries, they are periodical payments to the persons doing jobs other than mechanical works. Okay, has little relevance in the context of changing technology. So salaries are paid to clerical cadre people, administrative people, professional people, and they do not belong to any mechanical jobs. Salaries are paid by monthly, or yearly. So what the time duration of payment of salaries are, they are paid on a monthly basis or they are understood on a yearly basis. Next one, who will receive these salaries? Salaries are received by white collar employees. So wages are received by blue collared employees. Salaries are received by white collared employees. Next one is incentive. Incentive, it runs on a concept called the more you perform, the more you are going to be paid. So hard work will be, the more you are going to produce, the more you are going to be paid. Simply, it runs on a concept called pay for performance. Pay for performance. So incentives refer to all the plans that provide extra pay for extra performance apart from the regular wages for a job. Apart from the general wages that are received by an individual, he is eligible to get some additional amount on the basis of additional performance. So this extra pay for extra performance, we are considering that as incentives. So incentives explain a concept called producing more in the same period of time allocated for the work. So incentives, if people are to be eligible for incentives, means they should be producing more in the same time given. Then they are eligible to get incentives. Let us assume an individual is supposed to give 100 output in 1 hour. When the individual is giving 150 output in the same 1 hour, then this additional performance is going to be paid. Additional performance for this 50 is going to be paid in the form of incentives. Now, for this additional performance of plus 50, how individual is going to be paid, that will be understood from the concept of incentives. So different organizations will follow different types of techniques when it comes to fixing the incentives. So finally, we can say that incentives are big motivators for the employees or workers, because the more you work than the required thing, the more you are going to be paid. Organizations will follow different types of incentive mechanisms. They are one exclusively designed for individuals, that is called individual incentive plans. Second one is incentives that are designed for a group or a team, that is group incentive plans. Third one is organizational incentives. So they are implemented throughout the organizational level. So one is individual incentive plans, second one is group incentive plans, third one is organizational wide incentive plans. Next term that we hear in relation to wages and salaries are bonus. Bonus is an extra amount or a reward that is given to the employees. Bonus is always linked to performance or productivity. When we study Payment of Bonus Act 1965, as per the statutory norms, people who are receiving 21,000 salary or below, they are eligible to get bonus. So mandatorily, the employer should give this bonus to the employees. In the other cases, apart from this, if we want to motivate the employees, so it is general expectation that employees feel that some part of profits should be shared with them also. In such a case, their expectations are met in terms of giving bonus. So bonus is extra compensation paid or reward. It may be an extra compensation paid or it may be reward given to the employees on the basis of productivity. But when it is not coming under statutory norms, the amount of bonus to be given is voluntarily that is decided by the employer. How much should be given will be decided. Next term that is heard in relation to wages and salaries is fringe benefits. Fringe benefits are the benefits that are received by the employee or services that are received by the employee apart from his wages and salaries and bonuses. So the major purpose of fringe benefits is to enhance the overall well-being of the individual. So fringe benefits play a crucial role in motivating the employees. And nowadays, most of the employees are expecting how many number of benefits that are received from the organization. And moreover, these benefits will vary from position to position in the organization. There are several types of fringe benefits such as housing and accommodation, transport, canteen, education, etc. Next term that we generally hear is allowance. Allowance is an amount of money given or allotted usually at regular intervals for a particular purpose as per the expenses other than the wages and salaries. Allowances are paid to employees during the course of regular job duty. So allowances are paid apart from the wages and salaries for doing their job, or as a part of the job, different allowances are defined for employees to do their job effectively. Some of the allowances are conveyance allowance, transport allowance, leave travel allowance, etc. Next term that we generally hear is commission. So this commission word is also heard generally. Commission is generally based on the value or price of a product sold or services rendered. So how commission is paid? Commission is generally based on the value or price of a product sold or services rendered. Let us assume the company asked the salesperson to do a business of 10%, 10 lakh rupees. Now, when the individual is doing 10 lakh rupees business, the salesperson is going to get 1% of this 10 lakhs as commission. So commissions are especially designed for those who are engaged in sales and agents. So we can see these commissions mostly in real estate firms. So for every, let us take for 1 crore rupees property sale, the agent is going to get some 10% of it. So they are on the basis of price of the product sold. After understanding all these terms, we can say earnings is a sum or total of compensation paid to employees. That includes everything: wages, bonuses, OTs, and other allowances. You may consider it as gross total also, gross income also. Now, let us understand what are the common components or basic components of pay structure or compensation structure. So generally, compensation structure will have a common thing. Apart from that, the remaining benefits and other things will vary from employee to employee on the basis of position. So these are all the basic components of pay structure. One is basic pay. Basic pay is when an employee enters into the job, or when the employee is entering into a level, initially how much amount he is going to receive, we consider it as basic pay. Let us take when the individual is joining as an assistant professor in a college. Now he is going to be kept under the scale of 15,600 to some 39,100 rupees. Now when he is joining at assistant professor, now this basic pay for him is 15,600. So this basic pay will be increased next year with one increment. So basic pay is the base for calculating bonus or calculating other DA and other things. So basic pay is the entry level payment for that particular position. Now, when we are joining as associate professors, now the basic pay scale will be changed. Next one is dearness allowance or cost of living allowance. Now, this dearness allowance is given to meet the unexpected rises in the cost of living. Sometimes when wages are revised, the wage committee will thoroughly understand what are the inflation trends, what are the changes in the market, everything. But sometimes because of unexpected increase in the cost of living, the employees may not meet the expenditure. So this DA will be to some extent, DA will be helpful to the individual to meet the unexpected increase in the cost of living. That's why DA is calculated. Next one is HRA, house rent allowance. So employees will be provided some amount per housing of the employees. Next one is fringe benefits. So apart from wages and salaries, what additional benefits he is going to receive, how much amount is deducted for him, everything is understood. Next one is bonus. If he is eligible for bonus, how much amount he is going to receive this month. And incentives. If he has done any extra performance, how much he is going to receive. Apart from these elements, there are other elements are also added, like ESI. If the individual is covered under ESI, how much amount is going to be removed from his payment, and EPF, how much amount is going to be deducted from his salary, and other things. When all these basic play, when we want to understand the pay structure, salary is equal to basic pay plus DA plus HRA plus fringe benefits plus bonus plus incentives. So this is all together, we can say, the general structure of payments, all the components of pay structure. So pay structure is understood when we are combining all the elements of payment that are received by the employee and deducting the amounts that are as per statute. When we are making a slip of it, we are calling it as salary slip. So finally, we can say components of pay structure is equal to basic plus DA plus HRA plus fringe benefits plus bonus and incentives.